Hello everyone, Theophilus here and welcome back to my channel. Sorry about that. So today, I just want to make a video about writing, specifically in typing. For those of you that don't know, I just started a Substack. There's an app on the App Store called Substack. It's an app where basically people can write and type. You don't have to pay anything to be able to type and just produce content and other people can consume it. Right? I just started doing that and I just started getting on Twitter. But Twitter, I can only type like a short paragraph at a time. I don't know if that's a phone thing or I'm not sure. But, anyways, people have been trying to tell me about writing for a good while now. And even since I was probably like 17 or 18, I found like some kind of interest in writing. Like I didn't grow up like loving reading and writing in school. Like I didn't. I kind of despised it. I didn't really like it. There's a part of me that liked like poetry and things like that, but I never really like took an interest in it myself. I liked seeing other people write poetry and things like that, but I never took an interest in it up until recently. Now, I think maybe like a year ago, I was told about journaling, right? Like at the end of the day, you feel stressed, you feel angry, you feel tired, you feel whatever. You can just write how you feel. You can journal writing how you feel. And then as you journal, it's like your mind starts to slowly unpack the things that have been going on in your mind all day. And that can really be a form of emotional regulation. It can be a way to kind of keep yourself like sane and stable when you're consistently like processing everything that's going on in your mind. You know? Just turning that brightness down a little bit. Oof. Okay. It is what it is. But yeah, writing really helps with that. It really helps you to think and process your emotions and to be conscious of what's going through your mind. The things that really affect you, the things that don't affect you as much, thoughts you're having, meditations you're having, ideas you're having. Sitting down and writing about it just at the end of your day can really be a way to unpack the things that are in there. And it's a way that you can choose to, it's like a time out of your day you can choose to focus on you. You can choose to focus on your mind. You can choose to focus on your mindset. You can choose to focus on what information you're learning, what you want to learn more about, what you want to reflect about, what's helping you through your day, things like that. Writing is very helpful and it can be very therapeutic. Now, in the context of me being trying to be an educational content creator, typing can serve as a way to write scripts, to format, to brainstorm, to document ideas, to slowly like type out deeper things in the mind that it will take harder to explain, things that you don't really understand when you're just having thoughts, you know. It helps you to kind of distill the deep things that are going on in the mind. And this has been helping me is especially like when I felt like really down or really sad or something like that. Just taking time to journal, it can really be therapeutic. Especially if you're like me, you don't like have people around you that are on like the same like I guess wavelength or have the same like idea in mind. Like my desire is to go towards entrepreneurship, to be a self-sufficient entrepreneurship, to be a social media, I guess like a social media person. I don't really care about getting like rich and famous, but I desire to have an audience that I can engage with, that I can offer products to, things like that. People that are like minded like me, people that would be willing to support or at least to consider or even just to listen to the things that I have to say, you know? And writing is a way to build that audience. I've been learning this from Dan Coe, Dan space Koe, and it's been helping me a lot. right? It can help with illustration as well, like envisioning, right? I do this sometimes when I wake up. It can be a little bit of laziness as well, but I get up and before I kind of like get out of bed, if I don't gotta like, use a restroom or anything, I'll visualize and I'll think about the life I want in 5 years. Where do I want to be in 5 years? Like, what's the lifestyle I want to have? When I wake up, how would I wake up? Would I wake up in a bed? Would I wake up by myself? Would I wake up with a partner? Would I wake up with two partners? You know? What would I do when I wake up? What would my schedule look like if I had my money together? If I had my social environment that I desire? If I had all my priorities in order to where my bills were consistently being paid and things like that? What would my day look like? What would my schedule look like? How would I order my day? You get what I'm saying? What would I do if I could live the dream life that I want? What would I do on a day to day basis? You see what I'm saying? Typing is a good way to document that and to list it out in a way to where you can look back on it and remember it. Journaling as well, with pen and paper, more so for like, little things I learned. Like I had a page called What Broke Men Deal With. What a man that is broke or living check to check has to deal with. When you don't have money, these the problems that a man has to deal with. I'm just like writing it down and I'm like, this is what I consistently have to deal with. And I'm dealing with this because I don't have my finances in order. I'm scraping by living check to check. There's a guy named Hamza, Hamza. If you can just shut out all the drama or whatever that's going on. Drama irritates me. And I think it's highly feminine to be a person that's just caught up in drama with he say, she say type of stuff. It's foolish. But I like what the man says. And he had a video called "To Sacrifice 3 to 5 Years." About, setting goals. Little things that you can just write in one page that you can wake up and just look at, things that will help you like keep your mind focused to where you can end the night writing about something. Then when you're really tired, you can you feel like you're about to go to sleep, not just like a little heavy-eyed, but where you actually feel like, okay, I'm gonna pass out soon. You could just type, and then you could sit that to the side, think about your day, think about your plans for the next day, and you meditate a few minutes, rest. When you wake up, whatever little dreams you have, you can just push that to the side, and then pick back up on what you were looking at the day before. It puts you in a more focused mindset. And it's not that hard to be disciplined. It's not that hard to be focused. How you start your day and how you end your day are very important. And many times we don't think about these things. We don't really fathom, or we're not very conscious about these things. How waking up is going straight to, I don't even have my phone. Oh, there's my phone. How waking up is just scrolling, social media, message, and just going straight into that puts you in a very anxious mindset, a very highly stimulated, dopamine seeking mindset, and it's hard to focus. And that's the first thing you think about when you wake up. It sets the tone for how your mind is going to be working throughout the day. And I'm learning this, even undoing this, it can be something. I could be sitting down and thinking about some song I listened to 5 years ago or something like that, or this experience I had, or this thought, or what it would be like getting in a conversation with these people or doing this thing. But if you learn to have a meditative mindset, which is just a focused mindset, like meditating, not necessarily like the monks that, or certain beliefs where they have like chants and rituals and stuff. You don't have to do all that. You just focus on your breath. Focus on your breath. Focus on the physical sensations you feel in your body. Focus on whatever sounds, smells you feel in your nose and in your ears. Just focus. And your mind is going to wander off. Once it wanders off, bring your focus back to yourself, to your breath, to your senses. Right? And it can be really difficult. Like whenever, especially if I spend time like scrolling on social media, it's hard to put your mind back in that focused mindset. You don't just lose that few seconds or few minutes that you scrolled. You like lose your attention. Then you have to take your attention off of what you were doing, off of the scrolling or whatever, and put your attention back on what's important. And flip-flopping between those two things, I'm finding that that's very difficult to do. Your mind doesn't adapt to that very well. It's better for your mind to be in kind of like a kind of like a harmonic like flow state where you're just focused on one task at a time, one thing at a time. And when you're focused on doing one thing at a time, it's not that hard to stay focused. We just haven't learned how to focus. Like many of us as kids, they just sat us down and made us look at a screen. And when we didn't care, our minds just wandered and daydreamed, and we didn't really learn. Or some of those that were, you know, able to memorize and retain the information long enough to regurgitate it, those were the ones that were put up on the pedestal, those that were just taught how to remember things easily. And it's kind of sad when you think about it. I think just how poorly educated we are. It's really sad. Side note, I want to understand this more, but it's a conspiracy theory that the American or the Western schooling system was based off of the Prussian schooling system, which was a school system that was made in order to teach people to be loyal, patriotic soldiers or members of their society that were just gonna go all the way through with their government, go all the way through with their nation, and just do whatever's best in their nation's interest or in the government that is over that nation's interest, not for their own personal interest. And there's like a similarity. It's like a slight change, a slight shift, but a very strong similarity where instead of being raised up to be, say, loyal soldiers, we're being trained to be loyal, obedient, quiet, submissive workers. And I can get into that, but it can be hard for boys, especially boys that are developing, especially boys that are higher in testosterone. It can be harder for them to be, loyal, obedient, regurgitators of information. This is why many of the boys aren't doing so good in the schooling system, because it's a more feminized way of thinking. You have to be able to conform and to kind of adapt and just be quiet and do as you're told. And a developing boy with healthy masculinity, healthy testosterone, it's not going to be easy for them to just sit down and do as told. I've been learning that men are often hands-on learners. Like I myself, I'm really good at like being able to analyze information and process and decipher through information and know what's important to learn and what's not important to learn, and dissect it and repeat it in my head and think about it and distill it in my mind, and then being able to teach what I'm learning. That I can be good at. But say like when it comes to like making decisions, right? When it comes to making like consistent practical decisions or decisions that have risks attached to them, or ordering things, like putting things in order, and like time management, things like that can be difficult for me, especially someone that learned deep ways of escapism from a young age and just learned to not be present. I had a lot of brain fog as a child, and that kind of may have messed with my development, I don't know. But things that are easy for some to understand aren't as easy for me to understand. I have to be focused, I have to be present, I have to be basically on task to be able to do things properly. And if I'm like stretched thin and being pulled in this direction and that direction, I have to do this and do this and do that, and there's like chaos, my mind is not focused well. My mind focuses well when I'm consciously focusing on something, if that makes sense, right? I could be the kind of person that gets like overwhelmed and thinking about all these things, or my mind can start to shut down and just not work. But writing in like a meditative mindset where you're able to just focus, logically think, critically think, reflect, process information, that along with meditating on a daily basis, that really helps. Really helps with that decision making and the performing under pressure and things like that many people can struggle with, right? Because your mind's less chaotic, you're more focused, you're able to be in your natural masculinity more, young men. Meditating, writing, these are key. I feel like I'm gonna have to do them every day of my life to continue on the path that I'm on. Well, thank y'all. I will see y'all in the next video.